Hello everybody and welcome. Today I'm trying out a new series. It's kind of based off of one of an older attempt that I made, but I'm calling this one the Sketchbook Files. And basically the idea is we're going to roll a prompt using these nerd dice, and I have 3 pages of prompts and then modifiers written down. So we randomly generate a prompt, and then I'm going to draw it out. Now, you can follow along exactly. So let's go red, yellow, blue. So you can follow along exactly, copy what I do if you want, or you can do your own version of the prompt, which I encourage you to do your own version. But, if you just want to copy what I'm doing, that's totally great too. Or you can even take this idea and come up with your own, parameters and, invent a whole new set of prompts. Like, that's totally an option. Or honestly, you can sit back, enjoy a cup of coffee, and listen to the rantings of a guy by himself in a room somewhere. So that's the whole premise. It's a good way to be creative, inspire you to draw, or inspire me to draw, and we can come up with some cool ideas. So I've rolled the dice here. I've got a 13, a 13, and a 19, so let's see what that is. We've got food, drink, or desserts, so let's just write food real quick here. Oops. Okay, themes. 13 is going to be retro-futuristic cyberpunk, so I'll just write cyberpunk real quick because I'll get the gist there. Cyberpunk food. Okay, I actually think I have an idea. Okay, let's see here. And then 19 is segmented. Okay, so this is kind of just the texture. Segmented food. And the whole thing doesn't have to be segmented. It could just be part of it. Part of it could be cyberpunk, part of it could be food. We can really mix it up however we want. So let's get rid of the prompts here. We'll keep this one out here. And actually, I'm gonna flip this over, but we'll remember what it is because I'm gonna draw some thumbnails real quick, just to get an idea. And I actually have a good idea for this one. It's funny that food came up because I was thinking about this idea when I wrote that on the thing. I'm doing a little greebly on my frame here. So my idea was I was watching this cartoon called Space Dandy, and they had this it was like an episode about ramen, and they were trying to find this interdimensional ramen or whatever. So I'm gonna draw a cyberpunk ramen, and it's just gonna be, I don't know. Let's get weird with it. Here's the bowl. I'm going to make the bowl kind of like futuristic, like it heats itself. So we're going to draw kind of the dish portion. And then down here, we're going to add some little gibbets and greeblies. Like maybe this is all the gizmo underneath that, prepares the ramen. It heats it up and, adds the water and all that kind of stuff, right? And then let's have the ramen just kind of flying out here. So we'll draw some noodles. And I just want them going crazy. Some noodles. I love ramen. One of my favorite snacks of all time. I could probably eat it every day and then I would die of congestive heart failure. So I don't. Okay, so yeah, we got some vague noodles kind of flying out. We'll do some little decorations on the bowl here. Space ramen, maybe. Whatever kind of stuff. let's see, what else can we add in there? Let's add with some little fish cake, guys. So I'm just going to erase a spot right here real quick. They have that like spiral on them, right? And then kind of a flower shape. Some little fish cakes flying out. What else do you add to ramen? You got your little green onion chunks. Some little bits. Add another fish cake over here. Why not? And then, yeah, maybe some chopsticks kind of flying out over here. All right, what do we think of that? I like it flying out. Kind of want to... Here, let's try another thumbnail here. I'm just going to do a couple of these real quick. Kind of want the bowl, like maybe... I like that angle on the bowl, but... Well, but yeah, then if I do this, it's going to be hanging out. Let's see. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. Oh, it needs to be segmented, yeah. I almost forgot about that on this one. Okay, so... Segmented. How do we incorporate that? Okay, so, yeah, we're going to have like our... I'm going to do like almost like a black hole, like a sphere of broth here. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm glad I decided to redraw this. And then we'll have our noodles kind of twisting around it. That'll be cool. This is like our broth blob. It's like I'm imagining it's like the gravity in the spaceship went out, or the space station or whatever, and now our bowl of ramen is just kind of floating. That sounds like a cool idea. And we're gonna go. My tendency is gonna be to draw every single noodle and draw a lot of noodles. So let's see if we can. And we'll draw some more broth blobs kind of floating out here. I'm still kind of formulating a way to make it segmented in my brain here. Maybe it'll have something to do with the gizmos down at the bottom. Yeah, we'll make that. Make some, like a segmented tube coming out of it or something. It doesn't have to be like one of the main features of it, right? We'll say like... oh yeah, okay, I got an idea. We'll give it like a little reservoir, like a tank where the broth came out of, and that'll have like a cool segmented tube. We'll just tuck it in there right at the bottom. Screw it. Okay. And then our chopsticks just kind of chilling up here. Okay, I like that idea. So I'm going to stop there with the thumbnails, and I'm going to get a border drawn in my sketchbook here, and I'll fast forward through that. And yeah, I'll be right back through the magic of video editing. All right, so here we are. We've got our 3/4 inch border just drawn around the edge of the page here. And let's start sketching. So I'm going to start with the bowl like I did in the thumbnail. And we're just going to draw a big ellipse here. And then we're going to draw another ellipse for the bottom of it here. And I'm just going to tilt this up and make sure I'm getting everything kind of in perspective here. Everything lined up correctly. And then we'll draw our bowl section like so. Okay, so then it's going to need this is like the futuristic sort of cyberpunk ramen heating and preparing apparatus down here. And we're just going to draw kind of a... actually, I should keep that in perspective here. Hold on a second. Sorry. We're going to draw sort of just a big cylinder kind of hanging out the bottom. And then like a little base here for it to sit on. And then, you know, we can get a little fancy. Maybe our base flares out a little bit, you know. We don't have to, yeah. We don't have to half-ass this part of it. So there we go. How's that look? Yeah? It's pretty much lined up. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, so then we had a sort of a broth reservoir over here. And I'm going to put like a little seasoning tank on top of it. How much thought I've put into this already is a little silly. But hey, it'll be a cool drawing, right? I like silly stuff like this. I think it's more fun than the, you know, drawing the, you know, action hero characters and stuff like that. I'd rather draw a bowl of soup. Does that make me weird? Am I a weirdo? Yes. That's okay, though. It's cool to be a weirdo, right? Let's be weirdos. Okay, and then it's going to have its little dispensing unit here. And this is going to be empty because the broth has been dispensed from it. So we'll just draw like a little hole in the bottom of it there. And let's draw a big old segmented tube coming up this way. And just, we'll draw a couple tubes, actually. We're just going to have it plug in right there into the side of the housing. We'll give it a little collet, something like that. And then I'm going to draw another one over here. This is the seasoning tube. Seasoning tube. Okay, and then it's going to be attached with a little couple posts coming over this way. Actually, no, we're going to have it attached to the bowl, not the housing at the bottom here. Sorry. Changed my mind. Yeah, it's going to have like a ring kind of going around this way. It's going to come out and attach to the bowl like so. And we'll draw a ring around this. Like that. And then maybe there's like a tube for the seasoning coming up through there. Way too much thought into this. Okay, now I'm just coming through and doing some little gibbets, greeblies. That's how you get your, you know, your cyberpunk sort of look. Add some like seams, you know. Kind of stylize it a little bit. Maybe we'll give it a couple buttons on the side. It's got to be kind of retro futuristic, so it wouldn't have a touch screen. It would be all like mechanical buttons and, you know. Oh yeah, and then our tubes are going to be segmented. So when you do tubes, you're going to want to draw this wireframe on them anyways, and you can just use that to make segments. See, we'll just draw in the contour lines around there, and then when they do this, they're going to change, or actually no, they're not going to change direction on this because of the perspective, so they're going to be arched this way all the way down, and then same over here. All right, so it's a good start on that. Let's draw a spherical blob of... Oh, that's way too big of a circle. I guess it doesn't really have to be perfectly round. Let's draw the broth blob here. We'll start. I want it right about here. I think it'll make a good composition. And then we'll give it kind of another little offshoot blob here. And then maybe just a couple little blobs floating around. Maybe this is like kind of stretching out. I don't know how fluid behaves in 0G. Very, like, just out of my imagination. I'm just guessing here. So, sorry if it's not scientifically accurate. Actually, yeah, I'm going to take that out. It doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. Sometimes you just got to go with, yeah, what it feels like, because I don't have a physics degree. That's just going to be another blob kind of in between them. All right, another one there. And then we're going to have some of those fish cakes in here. So let's draw some little discs kind of from different angles, like so. Draw one kind of chilling over here, pretty flat on. And yeah, something like that. Looks pretty good. Let's draw that there. And then let's grab our straight edge real quick. I'm going to get those chopsticks in here. They were coming way off the page on my thumbnail, so that's something that's not going to work on here. So let's figure out... I think we'll have one cut. Yeah, see, this is a nice long angle here for them. And we're just going to give them a little taper, like so. And I'll have another one kind of crossing over this way, going up a little further. And let's make sure they're about the same as far as the taper and thickness and all that goes. Okay, we'll even give them a little measure here just to make sure. Let's see, that's about 4 inches, and that's about 4 inches. Perfect, we nailed it. Look at us go, guys. Just kind of give them a little bit of a round end here on this side. And then we're going to draw a little bit of a squared off end here. Like so. And this is cyberpunk, so these are definitely going to be disposable wooden chopsticks. Everything is disposable in cyberpunk. There we go. We'll add a little grain to those. All right, now it's time for the noodles. Noodles. So we're definitely going to have a bunch of noodles kind of coming in and out of the broth here. And ramen noodles are very wavy. So hopefully this doesn't turn into like a 3-hour drawing. Jeez. Our noodles here. Definitely just kind of sketching in a bunch of little loops and, you know, noodly shapes. And I'm imagining they're kind of like they're like submerged in this broth blob, but they're also sticking out. And then they're going to kind of go and like weave in and out of some of the others. Like so. And just go nuts, have fun. And then I'm going to give a sort of a big flowy shape here, right? So we're going to have some noodles trailing back to the bowl. And we're going to have them kind of go in a big spiral. Like some of them anyways. And this is going to be a big chaotic mess, but it will, as long as you just kind of get the shapes in there, I guess, like the overall like flow of everything, it should be just fine. You can just kind of make up the rest after that. Wavy noodles. And actually, real quick, before I forget about it, let's get our fish cakes going here. I'm going to give those a little light erase, actually, in the sketch, which I don't normally do. And we're going to give them that kind of spiral, like so. And then just this kind of lumpy edge. Like that. And boosh. We got ourselves a little bit of a fish cake. Lovely. Same thing here. And just those little boofy edges. Something like that. And then this was actually, I started drawing on this like it was a broth blob, but this is actually a fish cake over here. So let's fix that real quick. And I'm not being too accurate here. And that's fine. It's soup. We're drawing a bowl of soup. It doesn't need a space soup. Doesn't need to be perfectly accurate. All right. Just sketching in my noodles here. Noodles for days. And I really want to try and get a lot of noodles. Bunches of noodles. And we can even create sort of that noodly texture here. By just giving it some wavy lines and stuff. Basically, we need kind of like a ball of texture here, and then around the edges where the noodles kind of fly out, that's where we'll, you know, make them actually look like noodles. And yours does not need to have all the noodles if you don't want. You can, you know, you can draw different. You can draw hot pot. You know, different kind of soup entirely. Chicken noodle. You do whatever kind of soup. Soup life. Hashtag soup life. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm confused. Okay, this is getting a little weird here. Give that a light erase. Okay, and then I want kind of this, I want a big S shape here with the noodles, right? So I have a couple of them flying around the chopsticks, like so. Like so. Get kind of that orbit, sort of, like planetary orbit sort of trail of noodles. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool, right? Like almost like Saturn's rings or something, but it's a ball of broth with a noodle floating around it. Space noodles. All right. Okay, and then we're going to add in some like little green onion guys just randomly. And, you know, just some little chunks, you know. There's like maybe there'll be like a mushroom right here, you know. A slice of a mushroom. So we'll just draw a little mushroom shape real quick. Couple. Draw this, another one. Here, let's give that a little bit of an edge on it. Draw another one kind of angled towards us. Like so. Draw some noodles coming out this way. Floating noodles. Okay, so now let's see if we can turn this into something that looks like it's supposed to. I'm going to start by giving everything kind of a light erase, and I'm going to do a lot of this noodle stuff in pen here, so, you know, if you need to sketch it out more than I'm doing here, feel free to, you know. I'm just, you know, trying to go quick here, so. But you take all the time you need. All right, so I'm going to start with my finest nib for this one because of all those noodles. And we're just going to get right into it here. We're just going to start drawing noodles. So just little parallel lines like so. And then you can have them overlapping and just every which way. That's how we're going to do that. So, and I'm not going to worry about you know, making sure they all like line up with each other perfectly. I say that now and then watch me do it. Be like one of those sort of neurotic things that I do. I'm going to draw a couple little specks out there. But yeah, I'm just coming through and drawing all these little parallel lines like this. That's how I'm drawing the noodles. And we'll have them change direction here. You know, stuff like that. And then let's get this mushroom drawn out here. Like so. They kind of have like a pith sort of thing going on, don't they? I don't know. Something like that. We'll draw the other mushroom. Sliced, delicious fungus. Mushrooms are delicious. Tasty, tasty mushrooms. Okay. Something like that. And yeah, I'm just doing the kind of foreground details here. And then I'll start drawing noodles around it. But I want to get the foreground stuff kind of knocked out real quick here before we start on the noodles, because the noodles can get a little crazy. And we just want to make sure it's not overlapping something it shouldn't be, all that kind of stuff. Little fish cake there. All right. And then, yeah, let's draw some noodly shapes here. Something like that. And, yeah, sorry if I get a little quiet on this part, because it's going to be a little bit of concentrating on my end to get all sorts of noodly shapes here. But I will try my best to keep narrating. And then something like this. I'm trying to make it look like it's coming out of the bowl, not the bowl, the blob of broth. Here, let's draw some of that. Just kind of a blob shape. And then do something like this. I feel like this kind of stuff is some of the things that a lot of people don't focus on, but if you learn how to draw a bowl of soup, then if you're drawing your cyberpunk character, you can have all that. It's all that background stuff, the stuff from the world they live in or whatever. It's a good idea to learn how to draw all that kind of stuff too. Chairs and interiors and all that kind of stuff. I ended up probably focusing on that stuff a little more, unfortunately, than I should, but and let my figure drawing kind of go by the wayside. But it's still important to learn how to do this kind of stuff. I mean, it just depends on, if you're trying to draw like comics or characters or whatever, it really depends on what your end goal is, right? And these noodles are going to kind of just go in all sorts of random directions. I feel like we'll just kind of draw that one curling over. Big long noodle showing here. Noodle. Didn't think I was going to be drawing a bowl of ramen today. That's the cool thing about the prompt, is it just kind of decides for you. So, I mean, obviously I could have drawn any kind of food, and you can too, like if you want to draw a cyberpunk chicken wing or something, I should have mentioned that at first, but that's okay. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. I'm sure you guys knew that before I even said anything. Okay. Something like that. And I feel like I'm getting a little too precise with these noodles, but it's okay. Maybe I can try and loosen it up a little bit here. They really do not need to be... They're almost a texture themselves, you know? I feel like I'm forgetting something in the ramen. I got my mushrooms, my fish cake, my green onion. What am I forgetting? Oh, egg. I forgot an egg. You gotta have an egg, right? That's what I'm forgetting. I'll draw one in. Actually, let's sketch what here. Let's put the ink away for a second. Let's sketch in a little egg. We can actually make this this blob of broth up here. A little slice of an egg. Maybe the yolk here. There we go. Something like that. There we go. I knew I was thinking about it. I was like, I know I'm forgetting something. Okay. Give that a little light erase. Back to our noodles. Noodles for days. Okay, so then how I'm going to approach this section. This was pretty random here. What I'm going to start doing is doing these like coils of noodles here. And I'll just have them kind of doing stuff like this, going in directions here. And then we will have some noodles coming down this way, like so. And then, yeah, just do these like kind of coils of noodles coming out. That way you don't have to draw like a bunch of big long noodles, you know, you want to, because that would be insane. You think this is insane. And we'll draw something like that. Trying to kind of keep it randomish so that it, you know, it doesn't look... So it looks like ramen noodles, you know? Okay. Yeah, we want to leave a big blank patch for the broth here. And I'm just going to draw a couple little... These are like noodles just kind of poking out of it. And then, the rest of that's just going to be a bunch of broth. And let's come back down here. And, you know, if I'm being honest here, I have no idea how I'm going to shade all these noodles, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it, I guess. I didn't even think this through. I didn't rehearse this drawing or anything. I mean, you can't really with the prompts. I guess you could, but like record the prompt and then pause the video, rehearse it, and then come back. I didn't do that, though. I'm thinking of ways I could, though. All right, let's draw the top edge of the bowl here. Whoa, the line got a little funky. Draw some noodles coming down in here, hanging out. Some loops. Loops of noodles, layers and loops. Okay. Oh, yes. All right, so we want to kind of focus on our overall shape, right? So it's going to start kind of thinning out here. Let's give this some kind of loopy texture like that. Same thing here. Basically, we want these like big clumps of noodles. We want them to kind of end like so. Yeah, we'll draw some stragglers coming out like this. Some little, bits and stuff kind of flying around too. Like there's a lot of little particulates in soup. Even ramen has like, little chunks of stuff kind of all over the place in it. Some stuff like that. And then we'll get our flyaway noodles. Flyaway noodles. You heard it here first. Oh, I don't like that one. That's okay. You'll never know. Just make it, hide it. Hide it with many more noodles. And yeah, you can get a little loosey-goosey with this stuff, especially when there's like, if you're doing it like I am with all these like crazy lines everywhere, you can, you can kind of wing a lot of, it's forgiving. There's a lot of little stuff you can do. Little gibbets, soup gibbets, soup greeblies. Okay, and then here's our broth ball coming around. Yeah. Something like that. And let's draw some more little coils here. Coils and coils. Oodles of noodles. And then, yeah, we can just do our little section of green onion there. You know? Tons of little seasoning bits. The delicious goodness. We'll draw some big long noodles kind of flying over here, coming around. Whoa. Yeah, see, I don't really like that one, so, but, you know, it's more about the overall picture here. But we can just overlap it. And bang. Draw some more loopy guys coming out this way. Chunk of something there. This is going to be kind of where the back edge of the bowl is here, so I'm just going to, because we got kind of some noodles overlapping there, I'm just going to fill this area out so it doesn't get visually too confusing. I was planning on having a gap there, but we'll just fill that up. And then, yeah, that'll be fine. We'll draw a line. Then here's a clump of, what's that stuff called? TVP. We'll say that's what it is. Textured vegetable protein. Delicious. All of it is delicious. Okay. And I feel like this isn't looking quite right down here. Maybe, yeah, and we're just gonna draw the coils all the way through there. And we'll just do some big loops down here. Some noodly, loopy guys. Maybe a little straggler, like so. I'm just making this up as I go along, so, you know. It's gonna have its quirks, probably. It's understandable. Space soup. All right. Just draw our big loops. Overlaps. And stuff. All right, and then here, this is going to be a blob, broth blob up here. I'm just going to add some little contour lining here, you know, texture lines. All right, I am pretty happy with that so far. Looks ramen-y. Let's line out some of these fish cakes again. We love our fish cakes. Delicious, rubbery goodness. Just give it a little bit of an edge there. Bam, fish cake. Here's a green onion. These are just little cylinders with some concentric circles on the end. Like so. And little specks of seasoning and broth and everything. Go nuts, go nuts. I'm going nuts. In more than one way. I am drawing a bowl of soup, so I wouldn't blame anyone for questioning things. That guy's drawing a bowl of soup. I mean, who else is drawing soup on YouTube? Come on. I don't know, maybe. Maybe other people are drawing soup. Be funny. Like, everybody's drawing soup, dude. What are you talking about? Okay. You think you're so quirky and original. You're like the 23rd person to draw a bowl of soup. And talk to yourself about it. Lovely, lovely. That one got a little funky. That's okay. Like I said, it's fine. This is just sketchbook stuff, so I spend a weird amount of time working on sketchbook drawings, and they're, you know, not really sketches. Are they? I guess it's a sketch. One of these days, I need to figure out how to do some cool coloring. I think a big part of what's holding me back right now is paper issues. I'm working on getting some... I just need to order it, really. Getting some different paper, like different sketchbook. I can't remember the brand off the top of my head, but there's one I got my eye on that I might be able to do a little more experimenting with watercolors or like painting colored ink on or something. But I kind of want to get that. There's that kind of it's not monochromatic, but it's like a sort of gradient. It's usually like purple to blue gradient sort of background, like the whole background or the whole color on the whole image is just like this big gradient. And I've seen there's this artist Deathburger that's I really like. Deathburger on Instagram. I don't know their actual name, but yeah, that kind of, if you're familiar with it. If not, check them out. It's pretty sweet stuff. Very cyberpunk style. Very detailed. The kind of stuff I aspire to do eventually. All right. Got a clump of noodles up here. Let's get one kind of overlapping the egg. And did I overdo that? It's fine. Draw our yolk in. Our eggy wags. Soft boiled, of course. Gotta have the soft boil. At least with ramen. Marinated. Oh, I love eggs. This drawing is making me hungry. Yeah, I'm gonna go eat after this for sure. Draw some noodle coils coming down this way. Beautiful. Do something like that, maybe. Have this kind of coming around behind it. And I'm just, just making it up as I go, really. Let's have a noodle come around behind this chopstick and then, yeah, kind of tentacle its way around. There we go. That's cool. Okay. We haven't even started on the bowl yet. Let's draw our chopsticks. I'm giving them that kind of wobbly line because they're going to be made out of wood. We'll draw the wood texture in here in a little bit. But we're just getting them outlined for now. Maybe they would be made out of plastic. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so we have some sort of broth stuff going on here. Another broth ball. And we can give it some noodle coils coming out behind it. Maybe a loop or two. A loop or two. I kind of forget what I did over here. That's okay. Doesn't really matter. Let's see. Do we want our fish cake obscured? No. This is all just from imagination, so forgive me if the fish cake is, a little funky looking or anything. I think I got it. And just have our noodles coming around. We'll draw this kind of corkscrew shape here coming out. And some more noodles for days. Just wait. One of these days we'll start on that bowl And that's going to be cool. Drawing the bowl is going to be the highlight. I keep having them terminate in a point, which I don't mean to do. I've been meaning to kind of have them have blunt tips. But for whatever reason, my hand won't draw what I tell it to. This one's just going to wobble around back here. Clumpy boys, clumpy noodle boys. Oh yeah. Clumpy noodle girls too. Clumpy noodle whatevers. Whatever you want it to be. Let's see. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's the most beautiful bowl of ramen I've ever drawn. It's also the most bowl of ramen I've ever drawn. Period. I'm almost imagining like those coiled up phone cords. If you are, if you're old like I am, you'll know what I'm talking about. Those like stretchy coiled phone cords that they used to have when your phone was attached to your wall, or whatever, when your phone was on your end table. When it had the Bell logo on it still. Let's see here. And then we will do something like that. That is a lot of noodles. So many noodles. What was I thinking? We're only a little over an hour. All right, well, you know what? These episodes, I'm just going to have to come to terms with the fact that they're going to have to be as long as they need to be. So, we'll see how that goes. Whether you guys are interested in watching a 2-hour episode about me drawing a bowl of soup is another thing, but we'll see. We will see. Like, I love soup. I absolutely love soup. 2 hours? No problem. That's what I'm hoping everybody's going to say. 2-hour bowl of soup drawing. Absolutely. That's the fantasy world I live in. Ooh. Hey, ooh. Which one goes over? This one in the back goes over. It's got to. Losing track of stuff here. Uh-oh. Let's see. Draw in the soup. Draw in the soup. Well, the good news is I don't think this is going to need a lot of shading, because it pretty much, you know, pretty much looks like it's shaded already. At least the noodle part, right? The noodle part. Okay. And chopsticks. Oh yes, oh yes, very nice, very nice. Let's see, let's draw some goofy noodly shapes back here. And then some blobby bits coming up. We need to kind of come up this way, I think. Just a little bit. Maybe a noodle coming over this way. Ducking behind. Beautiful. Let's see here. I feel like we are close on the noodles. We just need some like big stragglers here. So like, you know, something like that maybe. Oh geez, of course it comes to a point. That's okay. Getting feisty over here. Aren't I? All right. Calm down, Ramshackle. Calm down. It's fine. And then, yeah, something like that. Doesn't matter if the noodles come to a point. It's a drawing of a bowl of soup. Nobody's gonna bother even noticing. They're gonna be like, wow, that's a lot of noodles. That's what they're gonna say. Right, guys? Is that what you're saying now? Wow, that's a lot of noodles. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, jeez. I think something that has helped me with my drawing lately, in recent years anyways, is just to not be intimidated, like, by stuff like this, right? Like, you have an idea of, like, a bunch of noodles, right? And you, like, talk yourself out of it before you even try. And that's what I think, what I was doing for a long time was I would, you know, sort of, I'm just adding a little details onto this bracket here for whatever reason. Greeblies, gibbets, whoosie wants it's. But yeah, I would talk myself out of stuff like this before I even tried. And, you know, it's a little bit time consuming, but you can do it, you know? Like, you just got to be patient and keep your head on a swivel, you know? And I don't know. Practice a lot, right? And then you can draw just all the noodles you want. But no, I mean, it applies to everything, right? It applies to little characters in the background or little details on whatever, you know what I mean? It's like you can't talk yourself out of it before you've even tried, because that's what I used to do all the time. I'd be like, oh, that's too hard, you know? And, you know, oh, I can't do that, you know? But it's not true. You can do it. You can do it. All right. We're just drawing our little broth tank here. I'm just trying to give it some little lines to make it look, you know, transparent. Here. You know, like little back edges and stuff. Like that. And this is going to be, you know, glare. We'll draw like a little attachment doodad. Something like that. And then opening in the bottom. Yeah, and I think with a lot of like complicated details like this, an important thing to remember too is that it doesn't need to be perfect, you know? It's like the busyness of that. Like one of these noodles by itself sucks, you know? Like I didn't draw a very good noodle. But because I captured the sort of texture and the overall shape, that makes it look like what it's supposed to look like, right? So, I don't know. That's important to remember, too. Like, you don't have to be, you know, render stuff perfectly. That's kind of my whole philosophy with my art, though, is each individual element can suck, but if you put enough of them there, it's kind of, as long as you get the overall shape right. It looks pretty neat. I'm beating myself up over stuff like that, but you know, there's a grain of truth to it. You know, like I definitely am not where I would like to be as far as some of my abilities, and maybe I'll get there someday. Maybe not. I'll try. But I'm not too worried about it either. When I beat myself up over like that, I'm not. It's not like a woe is me sort of thing. I'm not like. I'm critical of my own stuff, like. But like in a productive way, I think, you know? Like, that could be better. It's good, but it could be better. That's kind of how I like to look at it, right? That's what I always think. It's good. I like it. But if I did it again, I would do this different. And I think that's important for improving, to have that mindset, right? I like it. But next time, let's do this. Let's try this. All right, so I am coming along and just lining out all this stuff real quick, just getting the shape down. And then once we're done with this, we will start some hatching. Maybe some cross-hatching. I don't know. We'll see. See, what the hell is that? What is that line? That's okay. Who cares? That's fine. Adds character. We could even just draw over it. Funky lines. Looseness. So like loose, but somehow focused. Let's see here. Drawing the base. We have to get our segmented tubes in. It's not going to follow the rules of the prompt if we don't. And we are sticklers for rules around here. So let's do it. rules must be obeyed. There we go. Okay, let's draw in our segments here. Bam, 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 wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. I'm not really following the sketch here. I'm trying to make them more like evenly spaced. So there we go. And then a little line here. Cool. There's our outline. Yay. So we're going to put the, or actually no, we're going to keep the extra fine out. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to take a drink. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's get started on the shading. And we're just going to do some hatching. I am going to try and keep it brief so that the video isn't super long. So I'm just going to follow the contours here. And our light source is, as usual, above and to the left, I think. And I'm just going to do a little bit in the background here of the broth injector. Like so. And this is, you know, when you draw glass, you want to kind of draw the edges like that, and then the shadow in the back, I think. You know, this is, I mean, it's not going to be a perfect rendering of glass or anything, but I've done it, you know, from reference quite a few times, and you kind of get a feel for it, right? After you've done it for, you know, a good number of times. That looks transparent enough. And we will shade in these sort of hole areas in the bottoms, like so. It's where the delicious soup flows into the apparatus. And then, yeah, some hatching on the outside here of this bit. We'll add in a little greebly there, a gibbet. And some little lines here. And then for our segmented tubes, we're just going to hatch each one just kind of along this bottom edge here. All right. And just like even on this little tiny one, just some little dots here, like so. It can almost just turn into a line on that edge, you know. And then, yeah. We will come along here. That could have like a little bit of an edge light if you wanted. I'm just going. Can't be stopped. Can't even stop to think about it. Give this kind of a little vertical hatch pattern across there. And then, yeah, we're going to create kind of a lip along this bottom edge here, like by doing this. Just some little, tiny little lines like that. And bam, there you go. Looks great. We'll come up a little bit and leave a little bit of a edge light there. Like that. Something like that. This top edge is going to be pretty dark because it's obscured by the bowl. And then, yeah, vertical lines here as well. And then we can just, in these like kind of open areas, you just feel free to add in your little gibbets, greeblies, you know, whatever you want to do. Just gives it lots of texture. You know, don't overdo it. Try not to anyways. I overdo it all the time, so don't feel bad if you do. See, my pen's getting a little bit of a booger on the end here, so let's wipe that off. If you start seeing fuzzies on the, you know, getting stuck on the tip, it's usually like a little chunk of eraser dust for me, but it does not help with clean line work. All right. And then now that I'm looking at it, I'm gonna give it a little bit of a drop shadow on this little base edge here, like that. That's just where the tubes are kind of casting a shadow. And this dude is gonna have some little ding-dongs hanging down. Let's not forget to do this. Gonna leave some open bits. Just go quick, 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 quick. And I want this ring here around the bowl to be dark, so I'm going to hatch lines all the way across it. And let's go right out in the middle here, and we'll draw the straight line. Well, I didn't mean to draw it that dark, but now it is, so it's going to be, we're going to embrace the chaos, embrace the jank, and that's going to be a little seam now, so, and then we're going to go like that. Just right around the edge. Boosh! Hey, nice. And down here, we're going to get a little bit of a drop shadow going like that. And then just, this is going to be white, so we're going to just give it a little something. Just a little something like that. Same over here. Just a little bit of texture. What we can do here, because see how this has that upper lip, right? What we can do is we can come across and just give it a little bit of some dots. And then this side will get darker on, because this side's going to be the more in shadow. We can just follow that contour downward, line, 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 like so. And there, we got a little rim on the top of our bowl, right? Looks neat. That's what I always say. And yeah, just hatching on the inside of the bowl. I'm not gonna worry about light source too much. I'm gonna imagine the inside of it's got a, you know, different color. It's a darker color on the inside. We'll draw some kind of vertical lines in the gaps there. Something like that. Whoosh! There we go. And what I'm still trying to think of is how to shade all this noodle in. So let's keep going. It might be best to just leave it, you know? Maybe just leave it. Let's shade in these mushrooms. Because, yeah, we want stuff like this. The mushrooms don't really stand out very well, right? We're going to shade in our broth, though, for sure. So what I'm doing is imagining a sphere right here. And we're going to, well, it's going to have a drop shadow because of this fish cake. But other than that, we're going to just try and hatch out a sphere here. And I made it lumpy on purpose to make it easier, but something like that. So it's going to have a kind of a highlight ring. And let's make that a noodle. Kind of a highlight around here. And then, yeah, all hatching down through here. And we're just going to pick out the little negative space areas between the noodles. Just do something like that. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Hatch, hatch, hatch. Let's pick out some of this negative space on the noodles. And just fill that in with hatching. How many lines does it take to draw a bowl of soup? That'd be a good video title. I don't know if anybody'd click. I don't know how to title I don't know what I'm doing with YouTube. I have no idea how to title the videos or any of that stuff. I think I'm doing okay, hopefully. It's very confusing. I feel like the app kind of misguides you, too. It's like telling you stuff that would probably be useful if you were a bigger channel or if you were a gaming channel or something, but it doesn't give you necessarily good advice for art videos. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks. Thanks for that. Shows you care. Lets me know you care. So yeah, just same thing with this smaller sort of orb of broth. Just kind of coming through, picking out the negative space, hatching it in. Hopefully it's visible in frame. Would hate to sit here and draw for 30 minutes and have it be out of frame. I may have already done that. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. No, I will have edited that or something by the time you see it. All right. There's our broth balls. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and shade in this egg here with some hatching. Hatch, hatch, hatch. Egg, egg, egg. And then the yolk is slightly darker, so we're just going to give it some lines that go across because we're not adding color to this one. I don't know if that was a good idea, but whatever, it's fine. Maybe it's a marinated egg. Okay. Something like that, maybe. Actually, that looks fine. Yeah. What am I talking about? It's fine. It's fine. All right. Then these little spirals are going to be darker. And we'll hatch these little edges in just to give it some depth. And I think behind all this stuff, I'm going to come through and kind of darken in the noodles here, but I want to get it taken care of first, the foreground, and then work my way backward. In terms of darkness, yeah, so I'm just following the shape here. Hatch, 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 hatch. All right. Our green onions. Give them a little bit of hatching. I don't want to go too dark on the mushrooms because I want them to have a nice bit of contrast. And let's do our wood grain on our chopsticks. So let's see, so this is going to be the darkest edge. And this is how I like to do wood grain, is just follow the grain with the hatching, like that. And just kind of, keep it a little bit random, a little bit wobbly, makes it look like a wood grain. Just fine. And then, yeah, this highlight edge, we're just going to go super light on. Same thing here. Follow that edge. Something like that. That's just our wood grain, use it like kind of like shading, like contour hatching, but it also gives it its texture, right? And then, yeah, just darkening that in to give it a shadow. Oops. Same thing here, tucking it behind the noodles a little bit. We can do that here. Not necessarily realistic that a noodle would cast that big of a shadow, but that's okay. And we'll just give it some stipples on the end for the end grain, like that. A couple little texture lines. Just be real sparing with that. All right, here is the part. So let's imagine these. I'm going to do a little bit of hatching on the noodles here, I think. Just kind of giving them a little bit of a shadow. But we can also come in with stuff like these mushrooms and make them pop out a little bit. You're just kind of hatching the noodles around them. Like so. Like so. And I'm going to come through with the a larger nib here in a little bit. Just kind of get everything sorted out. A little bit of hatching. Like so. And then, yeah, like, see these coils? These are easy, right? Because you can just do a little bit of hatching. And bam, it gives it like some dimension. See what I'm saying? It's probably even easier if you don't follow the contour precisely. But we're just going to do it like that. And just, yeah. See how I'm just kind of getting the edges here, taking some of this stuff and just pushing it back into the darkness. And just real careful, slow, just build it up slowly. Peck, peck, peck. And we really do not need to go overboard with the hatching on the noodles. Like they're so line heavy already. They're basically self-shading almost. But, you know, some of this stuff here will be nice. Just give it a little bit of shape. Yeah, see, and I like the stuff where I like it to, I was kind of experimenting there. I like it to follow the noodle, I think. And then just getting some of this kind of more stuff going down into the bowl darker here. Just trying to keep my light source in mind here. And I'm going brain dead. All right, I'm going to start to wrap this up here. This is getting kind of to the point where it's not useful practice anymore because I'm getting a little fatigued. And just keep that in mind, you know, when you're drawing, it's a good idea to not overdo it because so you can actually kind of reinforce bad habits or undo stuff that you've done if you push yourself too hard, because it will, you know, your brain just can only do so much at a time. Excuse me. And, you know, you kind of just stop learning after a while. So usually a couple hours tops, for me anyways. I think it's a little different for everyone, but, you know. Unless you're, you know, if you're trying to work on a piece, you know, but this is sketchbook stuff. This is just this is learning. Experimenting. Yeah, let's get a little bit more down here. Some more little blobs and whatnots kind of floating all over. You know, we can add a little bit of a edge to this, like just noodle that's just floating around to give it, you know. Give it some shape. All right, so now we're going to finish it up by going through with a thicker line. And we're just going to outline some stuff that we want to stand out. So like these fish cakes, we're going to outline them just right around the outside edge, right? And that's just going to make them pop out from the background a little bit. And just make this a little less confusing to look at because, you know, it's very busy. We'll do these green onions too, why not? And I don't think I'm going to do all the noodles. I was thinking about it, but I think I'm just going to let them chill, be themselves. Let them do how they do. So we're going to do these mushrooms. Beautiful mushrooms. Sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to do that in your ear. Ugh. You're creepy. Fish cake over here. We'll do this around the chopsticks in the bowl too. It'll really give it some pop. Oh, the egg. Yeah, I can't forget the egg. Eggy Waggums. We'll just give it a line along the edge of the chopsticks. Here. That got a little chunky. That's okay. No big deal. And I actually switched my pen or my ink out. This is all done with Noodler's Black. So now that I figured out you can shake it and it actually is black and not a gray ink. So if you missed the video where I talked about that, yeah, helpful tip. Shake Noodler's Black and it's actually black. And I think I'm just going to start making a habit to shake all of my fountain pen ink just in case, because it's not going to hurt to shake it, but if it needs to be shaken, then, you know, obviously like the Noodlers here, it's not going to be as dark or, you know, as good as it should be. All right, so then we're going to go around this edge of the bowl here, like so. And we're going to get this top edge here too. Make sure I'm doing this in frame. We'll go this way. Jeez, I hope I didn't draw half of this out of frame. I guess we will see. If I did, I'm leaving editing me is leaving some sort of smarmy remark. Probably. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's just fine. All right. That looks good. We'll follow this edge here. And this edge right here. We'll make that negative space. And we'll do the edges of these tubes. All the way. doing that one. And something like this. That's actually making it look like it's plugged in a little better too, which is cool. Nice. Nice work, me. Nice work, everyone. You did it too. You guys helped. Yeah, let's just follow this outside edge of this thing. And we're going to give it that frame, the border too here. So it would have been cool to draw like a coffee table with some other stuff floating in the background, and you can if you want on yours, but I'm going to try and get this video done here. So we aren't going to add that in ours. Or I'm not going to. But yeah, we're just going to do our border here. Love doing that border. And yeah, if you want to show me your drawing, and by the way, thank you to anybody who tagged me in their drawing on the droid video is watching. Thank you. That was nice. I really do like seeing those. It makes me, makes me feel like I'm making videos for a good reason or whatever. So if you want to tag me on Instagram, or like I said before, if you're shy, you can just DM it to me. The DMs don't they get like filtered by Instagram. So if I miss your DM, sorry. I try and check it, but a lot of times I forget, or if I don't notice for a long time, sorry about that. But yeah, if you want to tag me on Instagram or DM it to me, I love to see it. So show me your bowl of soup, and yeah, thanks for all the droids. They were awesome. It'd be kind of cool eventually to do like a little user submitted gallery or something. I don't know. Show your guys' stuff off too. Some of them were cool. They had oh, I just drew a line right through that noodle. Oh well. Yeah, they had some cool spins on them. I think one was underwater. It was awesome. But yeah. If you want to show me your food, your cyberpunk food, there's links in the description. You can do so. And I will give it a heart. Don't expect a lot of criticism from me. But I like to see it. All right. Let's see. I feel like the frame looks pretty good. I really just feel like it needs some hatching in the background. No. Maybe just like a little vignette real quick. Let's just do that. It's not going to take very long. And then we will call it done. Hopefully I don't smudge it. I managed not to smudge it so far, so we'll just do a little bit of hatching coming out from the corners. Like so. It's called a vignette. It's, I don't know, Italian or something. I don't know what it means. I just know that it kind of makes stuff pop. It's a photography thing too. If you use it sparingly, especially in photography, you don't want to overdo it with the vignettes. They get kind of corny looking. If you see a lot of real ham-fisted photographers just way overdoing it with the vignettes. And Yeah. I mean, if, you know, do what you want. Honestly, it's art. It's subjective. If you love going nuts with your vignette, go for it. More power to you. I'm sure there's people who will think it's the coolest thing ever. As I go nuts with a vignette on my bowl of soup drawing. All right, and then just real quick up in this corner too. Some of these, you want to try to avoid the noodles and stuff lining up with these, the border here. So, you know, if you can avoid it, go for it. I'm trailing off so hard right now. Thanks for showing up, everyone. Okay. And then the last corner, just real light. Let's push the paper down. If it starts bouncing too much, it'll mess things up. We'll just do a little bit of a hatch. Like so. Vignette, vignette. I should have done the horizontal lines now that I'm thinking about it. It's got a kind of a cyberpunk look to it. Retro futuristic. But we've done this now. All right. There we go. There's our beautiful bowl of space soup. Let's switch back to our full-size pen. And give it a signature. Like so. And there you go. Beautiful. All right, thanks for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And a special thank you to my patrons on Patreon. You guys make it possible for me to keep the lights on and buy extra art supplies every month. So if you're interested in that, there's a link down in the description. And I will see you all in the next video. All right, bye.